Cal, how's it going?
Mayo shit.
What? you can't just start it mayo-y shit,
Well, I
surely.
can and I have, because mayo shit, and anybody who thinks it's not is a fucking liar.
I feel... I don't even know if there is, like, a place for mayo, to be fair. Like, I don't mind mayo with chips, but that is about it.
Well, according to the Tesco meal deal, it belongs on every sandwich they make, which is wank. Absolute bollocks.
I get sandwiches from Co-op, and they do a ham and cheese, and that always has mayo on, and I don't mind it.
Fucking
I-
Greggs.
I am-
Greggs and all.
I'm indifferent to it.
Right, I go to Greggs and I go, oh look, they're doing a Christmas sandwich, but it's got like turkey, cranberry, a little bit of bacon, stuffing. Oh, that sounds nice. Why is the mayo on it? It has no place being there.
Why are you so offended by mayo?
Because it's shit and it's on everything, and there's no reason it should be anywhere near anything else.
I feel like it's alright.
Garlic
But-
mayo's fine.
Fucking kill yourself.
Garlic mayo is great.
You are actually disgraced. How can you like go mayo doesn't mayo doesn't belong on anything, but garlic mayo I like.
Because it's garlic. Like,
No.
garlic makes stuff
No.
better, just infinitely.
No.
Regular
No.
mayo, just creamy muck in your mouth, but garlic
But-
mayo, ooh, flavoured creamy muck.
No. People like we get a takeaway all the time at work. Practically every day. And people have like just mayo with just everything and I'm just like, why?
I know, it's too much.
But not just mayo, it's people that get garlic mayo and go, oh yeah, it's brilliant this sauce. I'm like, no.
My issue with sauces in general, it's like I have a whole thing about pulled pork. You don't like pulled pork. You like barbecue sauce with texture. Like, I like barbecue sauce to an extent, but I like it when it's complementing something. Barbecue sauce on pulled pork, like, you're not tasting the pork there. There's zero chance you're tasting any of that. It's exclusively barbecue sauce with, like, strings in it.
I don't eat too much sauce. Like literally, ketchup
Shit.
and brown sauce,
Also shit.
and occasionally barbecue sauce. Very occasionally.
I went through a phase, like, because my mum's the kind of person who will get really into something for like 6 months, and then never again. So we had the sweet chili phase. That was about 6 months when I was 15. Barbecue sauce again. It was she bought herself a deep fat fryer, so it was chips every night
Yep.
and barbecue sauce. What else did she get? She really got into tortilla chips for a while. Like, I wasn't complaining because they're fine, but she doesn't like salsa, so they were just dry. And she doesn't like cheese either, so it was literally just salted tortilla chips. Yeah, I've never been a sauce guy, like, at all.
There is 3 acceptable sauces: ketchup, brown, and barbecue. That is it.
I am, like, because I'm obviously a fat man, I enjoy a kebab. So for me, a kebab is doner meat, no else. There's no salad going on there.
I agree.
Just in case I don't finish it and I need to microwave it the next day, like, get the salad off. And it's a chili sauce, which is the standard. Any other sauce, don't even bother. But I do like garlic sauce on there as well.
I don't get why people like spicy stuff, because in the same way that you're going barbecue, like pulled pork just tastes of stringy barbecue sauce, anything with spicy sauce on is just spice with texture.
Like, I can actually go into it a little bit. Have you ever, like, because where I work now, I get to try a lot of the beers, because you have to try them so you can recommend them. And there was this one beer we got in, and I'm not going to name and shame it, because it was awful, and it was local. It was shit. Like, when you drink a beer or something,
Yeah.
you drink it, you get that first flow of flavour, and then you're expecting that little bump of alcohol taste.
Yep.
Just towards the end, where you like exhale through your nose and go, yeah, there was an alcohol there. This one beer we got in didn't have it. It wasn't there. It was only like a 3.2% beer, so it had no alcohol on the finish, which meant that the aftertaste was just non-existent.
Yep.
So you sip it, you go, oh, that tastes kind of fine. Where's the rest of it?
Okay.
And then you do that little spike of alcohol, and then you get an aftertaste. But with this, there was nothing. There was no alcohol, and there was nothing brought along with that alcohol taste.
Yeah.
That's how spice works. Like spice can open up flavors in other things that you might not notice. Like paprika is really nice, but not really spicy. But adding spice alongside it, you get a lot more out of that paprika. It just mixes everything up. I agree though. Like generally, it's the reason I don't like sauce in general is because you're not actually going to taste the thing that you're eating.
Yeah.
You just it's just sauce with texture at this point. It's the reason that I'm not really big on burgers, like in general.
Yeah.
Do you actually like the burger, or do you like bread, cheese, and sauce?
Yeah.
Because put anything on bread, cheese, and sauce, and it's going to be fine. It just happens to be a minced beef disc.
Yeah. We ordered, like I said, we ordered takeaway a lot, and I forgot to tell the person that was ordering it not to put hot sauce on it. And literally got hot sauce on the burger and the chips. I like, this is just spicy with texture.
Sauce over the chips is a waste of time. Sauce over the chips, don't even bother. I will dip if I want sauce on my goddamn chip.
What do you just have the chip by itself though? Then
I will eat chip on its own. I will
is it
salt
a
the
little
fuck
bit?
out of chips and just eat chips.
So you put salt and vinegar?
No, salt.
The salt.
If they're proper chippy chips, of course vinegar's going on there. Every time. And a shitload of gravy. That's the way I like chippy chips. But fries, I will just eat fries on their own.
Bit tasteless though, aren't they?
Again, just enough salt. It's fine.
Is it though? Because I feel like you've got to put vinegar on there for the salt to stick to the chip, and you've got to put the vinegar on first.
If I'm doing it myself at a job that has a fryer, there's a knack to it. You need to salt them while they're still dripping with oil. Because
Okay.
a good amount of the oil soaks into the chips after you take them out.
Yep.
So you salt them as soon as they're done, the salt dissolves into the oil, and then that coats the chip, and then it's fine.
Yep.
Your salt does tend to run off of things, but that's why I use a shitload of salt. I go to McDonald's, there's like 4 salt packets going on.
And that is why you're going to die of heart failure.
Well, no, because my mum does the same, because she has really, really like low blood pressure, so she has to. And also, food. My mum's not the best at food. She's not terrible by any means, but she's not the best at food.
But yeah, like salt is legit like the worst thing ever for your heart.
Yeah, because it spikes your blood pressure. It
Yeah.
increases your. It makes you put on weight in the form of water retention.
Yeah.
Because the saltier you are as a person, the more your body retains water because it doesn't want to let it go.
Yeah.
But salt and butter, it's the secret to food. Like, I'm sure that we talked about it last time, but just bread and butter. Can't fault it.
I do occasionally do it where no, I probably shouldn't. But like, if I get home and I'm making tea and I'm absolutely starving,
Yeah, you just add like a slice of bread while you're eating.
yeah,
like,
just
while
a
you're
slice
cooking.
of bread with a bit of butter on.
Nothing wrong with it. Like, I remember when I was like in summer holidays, like towards the end of high school, like year 10, like 9 and 10. All I'd eat throughout all of summer would be bacon butties, and then like tins of Heinz tomato soup, but with half a loaf of bread. Because I like bread. Like the soup, like take it or leave it, I don't really give a shit, but bread. Like proper Warburton's bread with like actual butter.
Orange pack. It's got to be the orange pack.
Oh, the toasty. Yeah, Warburton's toasty. Yeah.
Yeah.
They do, there's the green pack as well, which is extra thick. But it's a bit too much. It's a little too much.
What's the blue one? Is that
Blue standard. Blue is standard. Toasty is a little thicker.
Okay.
And then green is the, like, you're only getting like 6 slices out of a loaf. But it's solid. It's just, you're not getting enough. If you do it for toast, you're not getting enough crunch. And if you do butter it the same amount you'd butter a normal slice of bread, there's too much bread and it's a little dry.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. At least we'll be able to. A reading I think Facebook or something like that the other day about like the lockdown over Christmas,
Oh yeah.
and they were like proposing, or they're going to propose. What they're saying is like, so let me get back up because I took a screenshot. It's
Yeah.
somewhat ridiculous, like 6 households can mix over 5 days or something stupid. Or at least that's what the headline was.
Right. So I imagine the way they are planning on it working. Say, for example, maybe your grandma's house is going to be the one that everyone goes to,
Yeah,
and then you and your direct family are going on Monday. Your auntie and your first auntie and their lot the following day. Then your other auntie. Then your uncle.
yeah.
Then your grandma's sister, and then your grandma's dad's brother or something. That's how they're probably thinking it's going to work.
Now I don't know how reliable this is because it was the Sun reporting on it.
Oh Jesus!
So this could just be anything at this point, but it says Christmas could be saved as government plans 5 days of household mixing indoors with group bigger than 6 over the holidays. So yeah, it just sounds like you can be in a big group for 5 days over holidays.
Yeah, it's going to be an odd one. It'll be fine. Like whatever. Like everything's fine. Just deal with it.
Yeah.
I'm not happy about it, but I'll deal with it.
At the end of the day, I think like the government's kind of realised that the vast majority of the country is going to celebrate Christmas, and regardless of whether we're in lockdown, not lockdown, tier 2, tier 5, or whatever tier, we are going to go home for Christmas and celebrate it with the whole family, regardless.
Yeah, I think my family's big. My grandma, she's doing a really good job. She is not going around meeting people. She's refusing to let people round. She's being really strict about it, so that she can be stuck up about other people not doing it. She's like, nope. My neighbour Harry, he had family round in like the middle of first lockdown. They came in his back garden. It was ridiculous. And because she's had a go at him, she knows she can't get away with like even bending the rules slightly.
Yep.
So I think my family this year is actually doing like separate Christmases.
Jesus.
Like I know we have delayed everyone's birthday until we can meet again.
Okay.
We're delaying proper Christmas. All the families are doing like direct gift exchange, and we're going to do a £5 Secret Santa.
Okay.
For the fun of opening something.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're waiting on when we can actually like all hang out. So maybe like Easter.
Yeah.
To actually do Christmas.
Oh, fair enough. So I always struggle finding stuff on Netflix to watch because I watch a lot of TV while at home. Because what I tend to do of an evening when I get home, go in, make me tea straight away.
Yep.
And then go to my room, have my tea in my room, and usually put like Netflix or something on the PlayStation or whatever I'm watching, whether it be Netflix, Now TV, Amazon, whatever. And I always struggle finding stuff to watch. But I've just found a new program called Designated Survivor. I think it is a really good concept that I didn't even know existed.
There's a lot of that.
Yeah, so it's all based around the US government and when they meet in Congress.
Yep.
To discuss whatever laws. And the president selects one person from, I don't know what the equivalent of the cabinet is.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
You get what I mean. As like they're called designated survivors. So they're not allowed to come to Congress on that day when the whole government's meeting. So you can't have the whole of the government in one building at one time in case of a terrorist attack. And that's what the program is based around. That this guy that's part of government, but his role is just to kind of designate new housing areas and all that sort of stuff. He's the designated survivor this time, and he government ends up the government building ends up getting blown up and everyone dies. And it kind of just starts with that, and then he's like, right, you're the only one of government left. You're the president, sign this, swear on that Bible. You're in charge now. It's like, okay, what if I don't want to be president?
What can I not? Can yes, no?
No. What about no? It's like, well, you can be. You can decide not to be, but there's a person from the Republican Party that's also a designated survivor for that party. So it's either you do it or the Republicans get in. It's like, okay, looks like I'm doing it then.
Alrighty then, fine.
But what I actually really like about it is the first season is, I think it's like 20 odd episodes.
Oh yeah, American shows they have good like seasons of like actual content.
But each episode is like 45 minutes long.
Ooh.
At least.
Mm.
So it is like a good chunk of time. And I think the third season's come out. I've just finished season 1 since last week.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, I tend to just go home and, like, as soon as I get home, watch that and play Football Manager. Yeah. Because that's just the new one, and you'll know what I mean by this because you play a lot of games. So it always releases towards the end of November,
Yeah.
but part way through November they always release like a beta version. Which I think's becoming more common now because I always see it like popping up on my PlayStation and stuff.
Yeah.
It's become like a download like the base of whatever game, so you can report bugs.
Oh yeah, I get what you mean.
Football Manager's done that for like the past few years.
Yeah.
I never report any of the bugs. Always pre-order it and just download the beta. I just want to play the game.
I just want to play a game.
Just want to play the game.
I remember doing it once, years and years ago. There was because it was back when I was playing my 360 a lot, like towards I think I was in like year 10.
Yep.
And me and my mate had just like download demos and play them while we're chatting with each other. That's what we do for like months. It's all we did. And there was the Alien versus Predator demo for the game that was coming out. And it was all the online, and it was essentially just a beta test. So like they could figure out like, oh, here's how many servers are going to need, the stress tests and all that.
Yeah.
It was an amazing game because it was just versus, but you got to pick: were you a human, were you a xenomorph, or were you a predator? It was amazing because there was because you can be regular guy with gun and do the shoot, and that's fine. Or you could be the xenomorph, and you're jumping on walls, climbing down the ceiling, like stabbing people in the back with your tail. That was super cool. Or you could play as the predator, where you're going around the map, picking up bits of technology that you've left there for yourself, and then all of a sudden you've got like machine guns and you're gunning everyone down. It was amazing.
I seem to remember playing that game. Was it just a solely online game, or was there like a Korean?
I think there was an actual campaign mode where you'd play like a level as the humans, you play a level as the xenomorph, and then you play a level as a predator, going through the story. But the online was all just versus, and it was amazing.
I think I might have had that game, but I can't really remember. I seem to remember playing that game.
Yeah, I remember playing the demo. Never bought it because I got all of my enjoyment out of the demo, and it was a fucking good demo.
Jeez, I don't think I've played a demo in years.
No, you'll remember it, and I'll remember it, but younger people might not. That demo discs were a thing.
Yeah, you got it. Did you not get it like a magazine?
Yep,
well?
it'd be like there's PlayStation magazine. You get demo discs with that. That's where because I never got magazines. I've never purchased a magazine other than like I think I got Kerrang once.
Yeah,
like once I ever got Kerrang. Yeah, you used to get demo discs and it'd be like, oh, here's the new Spyro game. Here's like half an hour of it.
Yeah,
yeah.
I didn't realise until recently, because I was talking to a lad at work about it, how many games was on the PlayStation 2. There's literally
shitloads, man.
There's an unbelievable amount of games.
It was very easy to get dev kits for. And dev kits it's essentially the same thing that can still play games, but it's you get to test how it runs on it.
Yeah.
There was, I forget what it's called, but there was a company that made a I can't remember what it was, but it was like a different coloured PS1.
Okay.
They made it, and it was essentially just a technically an unofficial dev kit, but it was just like a chipped out version of the PS1
Yeah.
that you could buy for like 250 quid back in the 90s,
Yeah.
and then you could make games for it. And then what you'd do is you'd send the game over to them, and they would put together demo discs that would include the games that people had made.
Yeah.
And they'd get sent out with magazines, like PlayStation Magazine had this stuff on there. But that's really cool.
That is quite cool, actually.
Yeah.
Consider it. So I was at work today and realizing that the PlayStation 5 came out yesterday.
Yeah.
I was like, I wonder, because I've got paid today. I thought I could probably afford, if I just buy it outright now and get it done with, I can just get it done with. But I'm 99% sure that they have already sold out everywhere.
Yeah.
Which they have done, except for eBay.
Oh yeah, yeah. The markups.
The audacity of people astounds me.
Oh, because I know you don't really care about PCs, or at least you have an understanding of PCs, but you don't have one, so you don't keep on top of it.
Yep.
But Nvidia and AMD recently released new graphics cards that we talked about last time.
I was just about to say
we talked about last time, but I didn't bring up the scalpers because why would I bring it up? No point. Now I can, because now you've experienced it. People buy, because you can pre-order more than one PS5. You can order one from Game, one from Very, one from Amazon.
Yeah.
And if all three arrive and you only need one, you are 100% able to sell that for more than you bought it for.
Yep.
And people will pay that much because they want it really bad. And with the PS5, I reckon it's like 500 quid, give or take 500 quid, about there, isn't it? You can easily sell that for 700. Boom. That is a free 200 quid you just got yourself.
People have been selling it on eBay for over $1,000, and that's what pisses me off.
Yep.
I think, right, fair enough. You've got the money to get one or two extra. Just put a bit more on it. Make a little bit of money. Make yourself 100 quid. Fair enough.
Yep.
But you're literally selling it at 3 times what it cost you. That is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, people are assholes. It's like when the Nvidia cards came out, there was the 3090 was the big bad boy.
Yep.
It's the new god tier. This is the best. I think like one of the AMD ones might be on par with it, but I think they're only just coming out now. Whereas the Nvidia ones, they came out.
Yep.
Getting sold for like $3,500.
Yeah. It's stupid. Like kind of talking about it, and the kind of what lads explain, like, well, yeah, think about it, that Sony, although they're like a massive company, can't really afford to pay for like 20 million PlayStation 5s to be built. So they have to pre-order them, and then that's how they tend to pay for most of it.
Yeah, you get the pre-orders, so you know exactly how many people are wanting them. You as a company go, okay, I know between now and release day, we can make, let's say, 4 million of them. Let's just random number 4 million. We can make 4 million. So you dish out to Game and Amazon and Very and all these places. You go, all right, let's dish out. Right, we've got 4 million and we've dished out 4 million. All right, all those 4 million PS5s have been pre-ordered.
Yep.
Right, so that means we can make another 4 million. Easy. Yep. Because we've sold those, we now have the money to pay for the ones we've made, the next 4 million. Cool, right. Build the next 4 million, and then they just start releasing them as normal. And by like Christmas time, it slowed down. They'll run out again at the end of January with sales, and then from then on, you'll just be able to walk outside and buy one.
I hope so.
Pandemic, like, ignoring that part.
Yeah, I hope so, because even though I know that there's not going to be exactly like new games for it or anything, which to be honest, I'm not that fussed about it because you can just download the games that you've already bought for the PlayStation 4
Yeah,
as
it's.
long as they're digital, which most of my games are anyway.
Oh, this is a divisive one. Are you getting the one with a disc drive or the one without a disc drive?
I am not paying £100 for a fucking disc drive.
I will 100% pay for a disc drive.
I am
I
not.
like to own a physical game sometimes. Half the time, like with my PC doesn't have a disc drive because you can't realistically go out and buy a physical copy of a game anymore.
Yep.
For PCs, they might as well not exist. If you are making a game for PC, you know it's being put on Steam or GOG or the Epic Game Store.
Yep.
It's being on one of those. You are not going out and buying a physical copy.
Yeah.
But for actual console games, I kind of like to have the disc.
Pointless. Never. But I can't remember the last time I actually bought a proper physical game.
For me, last time I bought a new game that was a physical copy was Dark Souls 3 on my Xbox. Not my PS4. I got that. Next one after that was like 3 or 4 Christmases ago. I was alone until like New Year's, just in my house because my housemates had gone away for Christmas. I was on my own New Year's, so I just nipped to CX and I got Wolfenstein. So I played through Wolfenstein. That was the last like physical game that I bought.
Yeah, because what I tend to do with games is I ever go, that game's coming out. I know I'll enjoy that game and I want to play it. I'll just buy it and just buy it on the PlayStation Store because I know that realistically I can't be asked searching around for a cheaper version of it just to put the disc in and spend the exact amount of time, same amount of time, downloading the game anyway.
Yeah, fair. Whereas for me, because I was poor for a long time, you
Yep.
were aware. You were there.
I was there for the poor days.
So I didn't I kind of fell out of gaming for a long time because I just didn't have the money for it.
Yep.
And then when it came to Christmas, I would just get money so I could live for a bit. So yeah, I just didn't game for a long time. Like there was a good like 4 or 5 years where I was just kind of too poor to do it. Now I'm kind of getting back into it, but I've also just like lost the ability. I've lost the desire to be like, I'm just gonna sit down for 4 hours and play Shadow the Hedgehog. I just that as soon as I start doing it, I'm enjoying it. Like I played through half a Sonic Adventure a little while ago because I was loving it, but it's just like actually making the decision to not just lie here and watch YouTube for 8 hours because I do that regularly.
Yeah.
Because I don't watch a lot of TV. I just watch a lot of YouTube stuff. Like a lot of different channels that I watch. But like actually actively making the decision to go, I'm going to play a video game today. I just don't do it very often.
Yeah.
So for me, I will not buy a game that's new. I will like if it's for a console, I'm going to CEX because I am not paying the 25 quid for Wolfenstein that online is still asking for because I'm not going to get 25 hours of entertainment out of it.
Yeah.
I will happily pay like 7 quid for it because that's 100% worth it.
Yeah. It's like with the new Football Manager that I just bought. Usually it's 40 quid.
Yep.
But what they do, whoever builds does Football Manager, what they say is if you have bought previous football, like last year's Football Manager, we'll give you so much off. So that's how they kind of get people, because they know people like me. I bought every Football Manager for the last 10 years. So I ended up getting like, I think they only do it up to so much.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting like 6 or 7 quid off Football Manager.
Which isn't bad. Like any amount of money off is nice.
Yeah. And it's the only game that I do it with. Most games, especially on like my PlayStation and stuff, I can only play for a couple of hours.
Yeah.
2 or 3 hours, and then that's me, I'm fine. Football Manager is the only one that I can get totally engrossed in. To the point on Monday when I came back from work, did the usual, made me tea, went up to my room, had my tea while watching something on Netflix, and then started playing Football Manager. And about 7:30, 8 o'clock, and I looked at my phone. I think it was about 10, half 10. I thought, right, I'll have another hour, and then I'll have a shower, go clean my teeth, go to bed. Looked at my phone, what I thought was about an hour later, and it was 3 o'clock in the morning.
I've had that once, really, really bad. Like, really bad. It was when I was unemployed, so time all of a sudden didn't matter anyway. But I downloaded a game that was a cheap game on Steam called Luftrausers. It's just a little like a plane dogfighting game
Mm-hmm.
where you just flying a plane around, but you've got 3 parts to your plane. You've got the nose, you've got your weapon, and you've got your engine. And you build a plane out of that. And it's just a little 2D one. It's like you've got up, down, left, and right. That's it. Don't hit the sea, you'll die. And it's such a simple game. I played that for 14 hours straight and didn't notice. Like, it was tomorrow all of a sudden. Like, I had, done everything bar one thing you can do in that game. It's like, there's one more achievement I can get. But I just played it for, 14 hours non-stop. I didn't eat, I didn't get up, I didn't drink anything. I was just fully engrossed in this game. And then I looked outside and it was bright and I went, oh, shit. I've gone back to it a few times since, and it's not grabbed me quite the same, but I'll still sink an hour and a half into that whenever I sit down because it's just it's the arcade game style of entertainment.
Yeah.
Where number go up.
Yeah.
And I like that number go up.
Yeah, it's but Football Manager, obviously you won't enjoy it because you're not that into football, but the people that I do tend to chat to that are into football and play Football Manager, they all say the same thing. You can't just have an hour on Football Manager.
No.
No. Nobody in the history of Football Manager has ever just played an hour of Football Manager. Where most games, like Call of Duty,
Oh yeah.
happily can go on with whoever and play for an hour online and just go, yeah, that's enough for me. I've had enough there.
Yeah, it's I could easily Team Fortress 2 was another game that I really got into for a long time. That was before I got into Dark Souls again.
Yep.
Team Fortress 2 was my go-to. I'm sitting on this for 10 hours. This is my day. But nowadays, if I was so inclined, I could sit down and play TF2 for a couple of hours and then just get up and be fine. Because the rounds are that short, and because I don't play ranked or anything like that. If you can, I'd have no idea. I only play for fun. I'm just hopping on shooting people for a bit, and number go up, and it's fun.
Yeah.
That's what I get out of it. It's I improved a little bit. I figured out how to deal with such a problem. That's my enjoyment out of Team Fortress 2. That's what I get out of it.
So you'll know this because obviously you've got a computer, but on Steam,
yes,
it tells you how many hours you've played on a game.
Yeah.
On last year's Football Manager,
yep,
I ranked up over 1,000 hours. I think it was about 1,072 hours, which comes to about 45 days over a year.
Yeah, so
I played it. I was just like, Jesus Christ.
So on original Dark Souls on my PC, which is the lesser used version of Dark Souls that I have,
Yep,
is 250 hours. Oh yeah, of Dark Souls, just the original game, just Dark Souls, including DLC. I have it on PC. I have it on 360.
Yep.
I have it on PS3. I have it on PC again because I've got the remaster. And I also have it on Xbox One because I got the remaster on Xbox One.
Jesus Christ.
I really like Dark Souls.
You don't say.
Yeah, I think I added up like my total hours because I played it on Xbox 360 first, played through it once, and then just went straight back into it. Started doing like the PvP, got really into it. I then went over to the PS3 because I played through it with my brother, and he had it on PS3.
Yep.
Then I moved on to the PC, which is did a little bit of modding, did quite a lot of PvP still on there. And then I kind of fell out of love with it, and then it came out on Xbox One because they brought out the remaster. And it was like, oh, that was my anniversary gift. I got that off Becca, which was very nice. Played that, and then I got it on PC because the PC community came back. I was like, oh, maybe I'll hop on, have a bit of fun there. And I totaled up my hours a while ago, and it was in the thousands of hours. It was ridiculous. It was months of time having played.
I think over the last 10 years of having Football Manager, I definitely think over the last 10 years, I've probably spent close to a year playing the different Football Managers.
That doesn't surprise me.
It's kind of scary. But the good thing about, especially 2020 and the new one 2021, is that not even technically, my brother is in the game.
Ooh.
Yeah, which
fancy.
Doesn't happen often, does it? You don't go, I can't even get my words out. A family member is in the game, in this game that I'm playing, because he works for Fleetwood. So, like, especially with last year's, and I'm probably going to do the same with this year's, every time I start a new save, I'm just going to go and hire my brother as my head of data analysts. Because I can.
Oh, yeah.
Bit sad.
A little bit, but, keep it in the family.
Yeah. But, yeah, last FM20, I got so good at that game that with Blackburn Rovers, because we're in the Championship, last save, I got us promoted within the first season, finished top of the table by a ridiculous amount of points. And then in my second season, obviously in the Premiership, finished in the top 4, which never happens in the history of football. Well, especially in the last 20 years when the Premier League's been around. And then, I think I played like 4 or 5 seasons. Ended up winning like the Champions League twice, FA Cup a couple of times. I'm like, it's probably a good thing that the new Football Manager's coming out. So I've got too good at this one. But I don't even know why I like it so much, because it is just a glorified database.
Yeah, you're just figuring out what number is good and make it good with other good number.
Yeah, pretty much. To the point where you can buy it's an in-game editor, and I didn't figure out until the last FM that if I go, because obviously you can scout players.
Yeah.
And if you actually go into the players like profile, you can edit them to whatever, and each player is assigned a number out of 200. The higher the number, the better the player.
Okay.
So players like Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi at the peak would have been close to 200, but not 200. So it even got to the point where I didn't have to scout people anymore, because I knew, because I had the editor, I knew exactly how good they were and exactly how much potential they would have. The only enjoyment that I got from it is trying to get them to the potential. I'm like, why am I playing this game? Why am I actually playing this game? Why do I get enjoyment from this? What is wrong with me? What?
Because you're secretly an accountant.
Yeah. I'm like, no fucking wonder I'm single. Jesus Christ.
What's the potential return on Cristiano Ronaldo?
A lot on the commercial revenue.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. It's even just got to the point where I just literally sit at home, play Football Manager, and just listen to music.
Yeah, I've recently gotten really back into just listening to music. Because For a long time, it was like I'd have something on the TV and I'd be paying attention to like YouTube for like a good 6 hours.
Yep.
Now, I'll pop music on and I'll be on my phone more. I'll just be
Yeah.
chatting with people while music's in the background.
Yeah. It's got to the point now where, because I use Spotify, I did have Apple Music for ages, but I went over to Spotify. And with Spotify, you get like the daily mixes,
Yeah.
1 through 6. They've got it pretty much spot on.
Yeah.
I've had it just about long enough now where my 6 daily mixes are pretty spot on because they are the 6 different types of music that I like to listen to.
They keep track of it quite well as well because I go through phases where I will start listening to like pirate folk music again.
Jesus.
And then all of a sudden, my 4th daily mix will change back because it'll change to something else that I don't listen to all that often, but like it's what I'm listening to in between a load of other stuff.
Yeah.
And then Spotify goes, "Oh, you're back on that, are you? Right, have that back." And it'll be the same bands I was listening to previously that I forgot the names of, but they'll just bring it straight back in.
Yeah, so let's have a look. So without even really looking at it, I know the 6 genres are like acoustic music, which is just like Ben Howard, every Kingdom album,
Yeah,
stuff like that, and covers.
yeah.
Rap music, indie stuff like Kings Leon and that. Hip hop and just a bit of pop music.
All right, let's have a look.
That's it.
Let's compare. Oh, how long have you had Spotify for? Less than a year?
I'll actually be able to find out. 1 second. Because I technically pay it as part of my contract.
Because at the end of the year, you may be aware, you get your yearly rundown and they make a playlist for you. It's like, oh,
Do you?
here's your. Because I've got my 2016 playlist on here and I think a 2014 one as well.
Yeah. Oh, no. I don't know. It's a few months
Yeah, so you're going to get your yearly rewind.
at some point, yeah.
And honestly, it's great because for the past 6 years, I've had the same artist at the top every time. And it's Jonathan Coulton because I love him because he's got such a variety of music.
Yep.
That I can listen to him when I'm into my rock music or when I'm into my slightly more chilled out stuff, and he still fits in.
Yep. I can only find like half of my daily mixes. This is winding me up. Just stupid.
Also, in my last year's one, there's 2 songs in my 2019 playlist. In fact, they are songs 4 and 5. They are songs that I do not like. They are just songs that I don't care about enough to skip. So it's 2 songs. It's Peaches and Lump by the Presidents of the United States of America. They're songs that I don't like. It's just I don't care about them enough to skip them.
Yeah.
It's like sitting through adverts that I just don't care.
So, playlist. So, playlist 1 is my indie one. So it's like Kings of Leon, The Killers, The Cooks, Arctic Monkeys, that sort of stuff. Daily Mix 2 is my acoustic one. So it's like Ben Howard and quite a lot of like acoustic covers. Number 3, fucking get it up, is my pop one, which has got Taylor Swift and Lady Gaga. High School Musical, apparently. Which I've not listened to for a very long time. And then 4 is like pretty much dad rock.
Yep.
5, where's 5 gone? 6 is all the hip hop stuff that I listen to, and I can't find the 5th one.
Right, so for me, Daily Mix 1 normally starts out with Tenacious D. It's generally the lighter side of metally rock
Yep.
and comedy stuff like Weird Al. That's my first one. That's my first one. Living.
You
Second
actually
one,
listen to Weird Al?
I love Weird Al. I'll be at work and I've got an Amazon Echo Dot thing, and I'll be like, just whack Weird Al on.
Jesus fucking
I love
Christ.
it. I honestly, there's some songs that I don't really know the lyrics to. I know the Weird Al lyrics to.
For fuck's sake.
My second one, recently, I've never really listened to ABBA. Like ABBA's always just been I'm peripherally aware. I know a few of them. They're fine. Just start listening to Mamma Mia on repeat constantly. It's great. Like the song Mamma Mia, fucking I want to say it's underrated, but people know it's good. It's just I didn't know it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, my second daily mix, I've got Wheatus, solid band. People think Wheatus is just Teenage Dirtbag. No, there's a lot of good there. There's a lot of good songs.
I've not really explored them enough to verify.
Well,
that,
you should. They've got some real good, just albums of good stuff. There's a few that I'm not huge on that I'll skip through, but generally, I'll listen to a full album. Fine.
I actually struggle finding full albums that I will listen to.
The Shrek 2 soundtrack.
Uh,
Honestly, it's perfect. Listen to it.
Okay, I'll give it a go.
You better. It's actually got Foo Fighters. Foo Fighters I can listen to. Foo Fighters is one of the few albums I've ever bought. I bought Wasting Light. That is a great album.
Okay, Daily Mix 3.
Daily Mix 3. We'll go to Daily Mix 3. If it loads, where are we? Oh, this is my weird one. This is my weird one.
How weird are we talking?
It's not weird because the music's weird. It's weird because the contents is odd. I'll go step by step, and you can kind of decide if it's all right. Taylor Swift.
Since, like we said the other week, since the documentary, never really spent much time listening to it until the documentary came out last year or the year before, and I watched it. Really enjoyed it. I love Taylor Swift's. Not the Fox one album that's just come out this year, but the last one, I was obsessed with that album.
Second, Scissor Sisters.
That does make you sound like a 40-year-old woman, or
a little bit. Third, Busted.
Love them.
Fourth, can you guess? Similar to Busted. Very similar to Busted.
McFly.
McFly. Yes, bang on. Next one up, Jamiroquai.
I mean, I don't really know much about him, to be honest.
Oh, he's solid. I like him quite a bit. And then it's just kind of a mix of other stuff. What happens a lot is I'll listen to a playlist someone's put together, and then when the playlist is done, it carries on playing.
Yeah.
But then you'll get stuff that's similar to what you've listened to, but not directly the same.
Yeah.
And I'll end up listening to bands that I've never heard of, and I'm never going to remember the name of. So, in this, I've got where are we? Backstreet Boys, Anne Marie. Don't know who that is. No idea. Clean Bandit. Still no idea.
So I never think of, that's the one with that artist in. I always think, right, that's my rock and roll playlist. That's my acoustic one. That's my pop one. That's my rap one, and that's that.
Well, some of mine are like that. I'd say that my first one, the one Weird Al and Tenacious D, that could be my comedy one. But it's also got Hugh Laurie in there. Hugh Laurie's jazz blues album. That's not a comedy thing. It just fits with that because it's famous person does music. Tenacious D, really good band, but it's Jack Black does music. And it kind of falls in that. Hugh Laurie, great actor. He's also a very good musician. That's why I like that album quite a bit. But I wouldn't say that my first one is, it's the comedy music, because no, Hugh Laurie's in there. Oh, it's not my famous person does music, because it's not my movie celebrity does music. Because there's other people that don't fit into that.
Yeah.
But Daily Mix 4 is the rock playlist. It's the early 2000s rock. We've got Bad Religion, Blink 182, Bowling for Soup, The Offspring. They're all in there.
Yeah.
That's where they live. What's in me fifth one? Ooh, this one might be weird. Oh yeah, this is the weird. This is the internet music playlist.
Okay.
This is the people who got big on YouTube.
Okay.
This is like the who are DJ Cutman. He does video game music. He remixes video game music.
Okay.
We've got Toby Fox. He made the game Undertale
Okay.
and did all the music for it. Like that's my. This is the weird one. Like the actually weird one. Like the fucking weird one. This one's the like I couldn't even explain what's in here. You wouldn't get it.
Okay.
And then Daily Mix 6, Biffy Clyro. Biffy Clyro, Mumford and Sons, Wolf Mother, Two Door Cinema Club.
Yeah, that's
standard, chilled out, just easy to pop on.
It's
Easy
kind of
listening.
similar to like my indie one, that in
Yeah.
Yeah, Tenacious D, massively underrated.
Yeah, I'd like
Not actually not even necessarily underrated, massively unknown.
I think a lot of people know of them, but they see him as a one-hit wonder kind of deal, where Tribute is the song they're gonna know,
Yep.
and maybe at a push Kickapoo. Those
Not-
are the two.
Not even that, I'd say Tribute and Wonderboy.
I think whenever I meet someone and that's like, oh, Ian Tenacious D, oh yeah, I really like Kickapoo, it's because it's the first song of the film.
Yeah.
Tenacious D and Pick of Destiny. Wonderboy's kind of out there. Wonderboy is the song that made me love Tenacious D and get really into him.
Yep.
I watched the video, I listened to it, it was just so soft and nice. I was like, yes, I'm getting into this now.
Tenacious D are a brilliant
Yep.
band. To the point where the only other artist, because I'm really weird with albums, I never really listen to full albums.
Yeah.
There's a lot of artists that I listen to odd songs of because
Yep.
I like the song but not the album. Tenacious D and Kings of Leon are the only two artists that I will listen through all of their albums from start to finish, no problem.
I was saying to you earlier that the only ones I've ever really done it with is recently a guy called Worthy Kids. He doesn't have a lot of his stuff on Spotify. Like one of his things is on there.
Yep.
Everything else is on Bandcamp and YouTube. But he's so varied with his music, and it's so different. Like all of it is different and strange.
Yep.
Like his fucking Shrek album called Duloc, like the city from Shrek 1. It's amazing. It's actually, honest to God, fucking amazing. Like, no rights does it have to be that good. And then his SpongeBob album shouldn't be good. It's amazing. And that's something that I will happily click on and listen to. That's fine. It's going on and I'm watching it.
I don't know why, actually. The other day I was sat in my room, I fancy listening to some music. I don't really know what I want to listen to. I don't know why, because I haven't listened to them for years. I listened to Gorillaz. I was like, and then it just made me think of you for some reason.
I really like the Gorillaz.
Yeah.
I like early Gorillaz.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I only liked. I think it's all off the same album. I'm not sure.
There's Gorillaz. There's Demon Days. Plastic Beach is another okay one, but I'm like every other song. I much prefer the Gorillaz songs where they're not like featuring some weirdo that I don't know, because I don't really do rap music.
Well, I do. I listen to a lot of rap music. Well, you don't. You listen to like some older stuff, and that's about it.
Yeah, I'll listen to Wu-Tang Clan. But it's the kind of music that I really like, but I'm never gonna learn the lyrics to, just 'cause I'm not. I don't fully pay attention, so I'm not like soaking it in.
I would say the one rap artist that, if I could get you into a rap artist, it would be J. Cole. I don't know if you've heard of him. You probably have heard some of his songs. You'll have definitely heard the song "Work Out" because you're on TikTok. I know that. I think that song was trending at one point.
Maybe
On there. But I would say with him, let me just go on his profile. So he's got like 2 or 3 albums that are phenomenal.
Yeah.
So his one of his very early ones, which is Cold World, the Sideline Story. Listen to that album; that's a phenomenal one. The other one is 2014 Forest Hill Drives. Them two are probably the best rap albums for me that have come out over the last 20 years. Because it's not just generic. It's not a generic rapper rapper that talks about cars and money and kind of all that generic stuff. It does kind of cover other topics,
Hmm.
and he's lyrically very good.
Yeah. Don't know what it is about rap music that like I'll have to be kind of caught off guard with it. I'll never pursue it. I'll never be like, oh, I'm gonna go listen to rap music today. Oh, let's see what artists are trending because I find that trending music tends to be it's pleasing too many people to be niche enough to mean anything.
Yeah,
It's like I could make a cake and it's sweet and it's vanilla-y and no one's going to disagree with it because it's fun.
yeah,
It is a very approachable cake. I like things to be a little more niche and targeted because I feel like anybody who's actually interested, it's going to hit them harder. They're
yeah,
going to get more out of it. So I tend, like, not through any malice, it's just I tend to avoid popular stuff simply because it's
yeah,
appealing to too many people. That it's too broad of a stroke, it's attracting too many people for it to be targeted enough to be really good.
yeah. Where J. Cole fits that because unless you're into rap music, you won't know who he is. Where like I can't ever remember hearing any of his music. In it's mainstream enough that I've heard him and I
Yeah.
like him, but not so mainstream that like his music's on TV shows and all that sort of stuff. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I feel like Lewis Capaldi. The only reason that I know who Lewis Capaldi is because his album was in the charts for forever.
Yep.
And it's like kind of well, I actually knew Ed Sheeran before he got massive, but I I found out about J Cole through my brother, who's
Mm.
also into rap music, but I can't ever remember. There might be like the odd song off an album that he releases
Yeah. Yeah.
that kind of gets into the top 40 for a week or two.
There's
But
another.
he's absolutely massive in America.
Yeah. There's
It
another
comes to
artist
music.
that I really, really enjoy, and he's another one similar to We're the Kids, where you can tell he does music when he wants to do music.
Yep.
He goes and does it when he's in the mood to do it, and he's been inspired and he's figured out what he wants to do.
Yep.
A lot of it, like I want to say it's comedy, but it's like it's just that what it's talking about is kind of funny. It's not that there's jokes within the song. It's more like one of the songs. It's called Cabinet Man. It's by the artist is Lemon Demon.
Yep.
He's the guy who did Potter Puppet Pals.
Okay.
Yeah, he did Potter
Yep.
Puppet Pals. He also did The Ultimate Showdown, that comedy song from like 2002 or whatever. But one of his
Yep.
songs is called Cabinet Man. It is about a scientist person, maybe, who put all of his body and organs and brain into an arcade cabinet.
Okay.
And the entire song is about how all the kids just can't defeat him. Like he's too hard of a game.
Jesus.
Like it's not necessarily a comedy song. It's just written about something that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's a strange artist, and it's like he'll never be in the mainstream simply because of what he sings about. He doesn't sing songs about love and regular life. It's oh yeah, I'm a robot man arcade machine now. Like it's
Yeah. It's I don't even know what the genre is called. Like
it's odd. I think in
it's like alternative pop.
Kind of, but it's not because that's its own thing. It is very niche and it's its own thing.
Yeah. To be fair, like, because I was talking to one of the guys at work, Pete, he's like, my son plays video games and he just sits in his room screaming on his PC. I'm like, yeah, I've been there. I've been there. That's playing video games as a teenager, getting wound up because you can't make it do what you want it to do, even though you know what you want it to do.
I think I mentioned this last time, but like I don't get angry at video games. I will get angry very momentarily when I fuck up and I know I fucked up,
Yep.
but I don't yell at people. I can't do the shouting. I just can't. I don't get that invested that I'm like, yeah, fuck this, yelling and shouting all the time.
Not since I've had my own. Actually, bought my own cons. Actually, well, probably before that, but even, but especially since I bought the PlayStation 4, just even more so that I don't even get that angry. I get a little bit wound up. I just pause it and walk away.
Yeah.
Because I think I I I can't financially, as a responsible adult,
Yeah.
chuck this controller across the room in frustration because it's going to cost me at least 50 quid to replace the controller.
The only time I ever did get annoyed and nearly throw a controller, I have never thrown a controller. The only time I got close was when I was laid on my bed and I was playing something like Spyro or some shit.
Yep.
And I got really annoyed, like really frustrated, and I lifted the controller with both hands, like ready to throw it at my TV, but I stopped myself most of the way and I just slammed it down
Yep.
on my bollocks. And that just chilled me the fuck out. I was in that much pain. I was like, yep, that's not happening again. I am not getting angry again at video games. No, it's not worth it. My balls mean too much to me.
I think the only controller that I've ever broke, console wise, was for the PlayStation 2. I can't even remember like what game I was playing, but you know, like at the bottom of the controller,
Yep.
obviously it comes out and then round and back in at the bottom.
Yeah, you got the handles.
The
let's
handle,
say.
pretty
The
much.
handles.
I chucked it down that hard that you know where the screws go in
Yep.
into the casing.
Hmm.
Snapped the casing there, so it that broke it, and
Jesus.
yeah, and I think that's the last controller I ever broke. And then yeah, I can't afford to keep buying PlayStation controllers, so I just never do.
No, the controls are expensive now. I get it. They do more. There's more going on, but because yeah, it was playing Dark Souls. I was getting back into Dark Souls on PC, and that's a game that you can play with keyboard and mouse, but you don't play with keyboard and mouse.
Yeah,
It is not a game designed for it.
yeah,
The later ones, and I think the remaster, like it's a lot easier. They actually put effort into the keyboard controls for it. But for me, it's a controller game, and I was gonna get back into it. And I was like, I'm not playing it on keyboard and mouse, so I ordered the Xbox One controller because they just work. You plug them in and they do.
yeah.
That's why I bought it. I could have got a PS4 controller and done the same, but there's a little more effort with that. You've got to assign key bindings, and it's a whole mess that I wasn't going to deal with. So I got the Xbox One, and it's great. It does everything I need it to do.
Well, yeah, because it's all Microsoft and all them too.
Yeah, I remember when the Xbox One was coming out, I bought an Xbox One controller, like pre-ordered it,
Yeah,
because I was told by a news article they would just work.
yeah.
You plug it into your PC and it works. And that was fucking lies. It was bullshit because it didn't. And I was livid because I spent, I think at the time I bought it was like 79 quid, 69 quid.
Yep.
I paid for that controller because I was using a Xbox 360 controller and a wireless dongle that if it didn't connect just at the right time during boot up of your PC, wouldn't connect.
Yeah.
So every morning, well, I say morning, I was very unemployed and I was waking up at like 4. Every day, I'd wake up and have to reboot my PC about 4 times, wait for my PC to boot up with its like 4 gigs of RAM, wait for it to boot up, then I have to boot up the video game
Yeah.
to find out if it was working or not.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, great, I'll buy an Xbox One controller and it'll just work, it'll be great. And it fucking didn't. Livid. Actually livid. I was so angry.
Did it just work now?
Yeah, it's fine. I got a wireless one. You plug the wireless dongle into your PC, you connect it once, it's fine. It just works. Like, honestly, put it away. Thought it was in reach. I could have just done it now and it would have been fine.
Yeah. I think you can do it with the PS5 remotes, but I think you have to have some sort of adapter that's plugged in or something.
Yeah, it'll either be a wireless dongle, just so it's on the same wavelength, and that's whatever, or wired just works as well. Like, I don't mind wired controllers, it's just inconvenient. Is my only issue. It's my only issue with it is inconvenient.
It is very 2005.
Yeah.
But apparently, I don't know I've not really looked into the new Xbox because I'm not going to get it and I'm not fussed about it. But I know with the new PlayStation, they have like updated the controls and made them better.
The control's interesting. Like, I was watching someone play Bugsnax, which is, I think, a PlayStation exclusive. The triggers are interesting.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, and because this year is like the first year where I've not bought FIFA because it is the same game.
It's the same game. We discussed it last week. It's the same game again. Next year it'll be different because they've worked on the next one for 2 years.
But what they say, the triggers on it, what they're saying is like when your players are getting more and more tired. Obviously, I think it's like I2 to sprint or something.
Yeah.
The more tired they get, the less that you can like push it down and stuff like that, and all that sort of
stuff. The one that actually
cool.
interests me is the example of like, say you're playing a game where your character has a bow and arrow.
Yep.
It's going to be you are pushing down on the trigger, and all of a sudden it gets really stiff.
Yep.
And as soon as you click past that, that's when you release.
Yeah.
That's the bit that I find interesting. That's where my interest comes in. Stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, lads at work that obviously got to play the new one. Yes, when it came out yesterday, it says, well, the new features on the remote, which is weird. I don't know how they've done it, but it said the vibrations are different. So now when you're playing on the PlayStation, when it vibrates, the whole remote vibrates.
Yeah.
Said, but on the new controllers, the vibrations start at the bottom of the handles and make the way up the controllers. So it can be in a certain area of the controller and not the whole controller.
Let's see how much the controller is. How much do you reckon it is?
70 quid.
70 quid? Is that what you think?
Yep.
60? I am shocked. Actually, I'm shocked by that. I thought they'd be way more expensive. Because how much is a PS4 controller?
About when they came out, about 40. Well, about 50.
Oh no, that's an off-brand one. Forget that. Scrap that. Sold out. Unofficial. Sold out. Unofficial. Oh, they just don't exist. It's fine.
They do.
Did they get rid of the touchpad on the DualSense? Nope, still got it. I hate it. I don't like it. I've never used it.
I use it when I have to use it to like get the maps up or something on a game. But there's a couple of games that I'm looking forward to on the PlayStation.
Yeah.
But I've just decided not to get it until I get the PlayStation 5 because there's no point.
Yeah,
because I think from what I've read, if you've got a saved game on your PlayStation 4 for a game, it doesn't go over to your PlayStation 5.
It does on some, but you've got to check game to game.
Yeah. So I'm just a bit like, well, I don't really want to get a new, like the new Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, you don't want to get halfway through it to
then realise that it doesn't go over to the PlayStation 5 and restart the game, and it's just a nightmare.
Because one thing I've heard, like, the opposite way round, it's not that bad. Like, say if you know that, you've saved up enough to get the PS5, but you know you don't have enough to get, you can get one game or something. It's not nearly as bad this time because you can play those older games that you've already got.
Yeah.
They're just going to look really nice that it's worth going back. It's worth going back just to be like, yeah, this game's beautiful. This is amazing. I love this.
Not all games, from what I've read, but quite a few of them. So yeah, it's just one of them that it's going to be interesting. From like the websites that I've looked at today, I think quite a few are getting some more in December. Um, yeah, we'll see. Because I was kind of tempted because my mum keeps pestering me for what do you want? Well, I say she keeps pestering me. She's asked me once. To be fair, I'm just gonna. I think what I'm going to say to her is, if you can get me the PlayStation 5 for Christmas, ask the rest of the family to chip in, and I will pay the difference.
Yeah, that's what I did with my PC last year. I said to my mum, I was like, yeah, get money off everyone. Here's the amount of money that Becca's given you. Let me know how much I owe you.
Yep.
I'll pay the rest. And I think it only like ended up paying like 200, 300 quid towards it, something like that.
Yep.
And yeah, that was it. It was fine. It's a tends to be how I treat Christmas and birthdays now. It's like, as opposed to getting lots of little stuff that's just going to clutter up, I go, oh, I kind of need this big thing, or I want this big thing.
Yeah.
Everybody chip in, and then it's essentially just reducing the price for me.
Yeah. This is what I want. I can't afford the full thing.
Yeah, that's it.
Get me this, and I will pay the difference. Which is, yeah, like past couple of Christmases, I haven't really, or like birthdays, I haven't really gotten anything.
Yeah.
It's not because, well, mostly just because there's nothing that I especially wanted at the time. And the things that I did want was like a ridiculously expensive computer, and I'm like, I can't even afford to pay the difference.
Yeah, no, for me it was I knew what my minimum requirements were, and my mum works for a place that sells PCs, and that's where I got this. And I know
Yeah.
she gets like 15% discount, so I was like, okay, well this is like £1,000. Her discount takes it down to 850. I know I'm getting £300 off such a person. I know more or less how much my mum's giving me. Everybody
Yeah.
else, like it took it down to like I was only paying like £300, £200, something like that. Like it was very reasonable. Like it was perfectly reasonable amount. And if I consider it as, oh, I just got a PC that is pretty great for 300 quid, it's a
Yeah.
great deal.
Yeah. That's not bad, that. One thing that I have started doing, like recently, is like on my phone when I'm a bit bored. I'm like on my lunch or something at work. It's just typing into Google just news and just trying to find like the most ridiculous headlines because a lot of it is just clickbait
Yeah.
and like it's just getting like worse and worse with just ridiculousness. There was one the other day that I saw. It was like bones found in park in Berlin, cannibal hunt starts. I was like,
Oh.
Jesus, there goes Hannibal Lecter.
Okay.
But even if you do it now, over 60% of it is coronavirus, Donald Trump, politics that you don't really care about,
Yeah.
and then just a little bit of football and Black Friday deals added in.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it.
But I never ordered anything on Black Friday because I just I never need anything that bad that I'm. If I need something bad enough, I'm gonna buy it.
Yep.
I'm not gonna wait until sometime in November in case.
Yeah.
And the Black Friday deals over here are never that great. It's like, oh, here's 20% off something that you're only gonna buy because it's 20% off.
Yeah.
Like the amazing deals they get in America are sort of fabricated because they're like, oh, here's a TV that's like $800 off, and it's only because the day before they marked it up by 500.
Yeah.
So realistically, it's like $100 or so off, which is better than paying full price, but also they're still making a lot of money on it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's all boring. The amount of times that I'm going to sit at work and think, well, I suppose the best place all the time.
I just liked drawing things.
You liked making, well, I say you liked making it. You only did a couple of chapters.
I did.
Of, yeah, Dave and Nev story.
Dave and Nev's story. Yeah, I only did. I didn't do many. I think I did like 2, maybe 3 at a push.
I think you did more than that. There were a few.
At,
It was the greatest untold story ever to be told.
at very best, it was like 4 or 5, but there were not many.
Yeah.
I think there was introduction to each character. There was the meeting of, I think, Dave broke into Neville's house.
No, it was an evil.
It was an evil, yeah. I know that was going on. Like 2 entirely separate co-workers that have never met,
Yeah.
but writing stories about them as if they were like crime-fighting buds. Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus. And like, I want to say this was years ago, and it was, but it was not nearly long enough ago for it to be funny.
It definitely is funny. Talking about Dave, actually, has he got any more tattoos? 'Cause I know he got like pretty much hooked on tattoos.
He got an owl. He got a Cheshire cat. He got a few others. Like all of his tattoos are done really, really well, and
Yeah.
they're just not for me. They're just not tattoos I get. But like stylistically, they're great. They're very well tattooed. It's just
Yeah, because you have quite a few tattoos. How many
yeah.
do you have?
Do you count all the knuckles as separate?
Yes, because it's not all one tattoo.
It was one sitting. So like tattoos, I have said, oh, I want this doing, and then I've been given a price quote for. It's 4.
Yeah.
Individual images, 13 technically, because I've got like all my knuckles done.
Yeah.
So I've got upper left arm, lower right arm, chest, and knuckles.
And your left wrist.
Oh fuck yeah! Yeah, so forget that. It's 5 and 14.
Your fucking spazzy Godzilla tattoo.
Hey, my Godzilla is beautiful.
He's-
I drew it myself.
That is Godzilla's little Down syndrome brother
He's lovely.
that tags along and asks if he can hang out with Godzilla and his friends.
And of course he can, because he is loved.
But I don't have any tattoos or any
Because
piercings.
you've got commitment issues, mate.
Jesus. Well, I am single.
Yeah.
Committed to being single, that's what it is.
Oh, Jesus.
But, yeah. Your explanation of all your tattoos and your piercings make you look like you've just come out of prison. Multiple piercings, lots of tattoos, hard as nails.
I'm not hard as nails, mate. I'm a soft, tender boy.
With lots of soft, squidgy bits.
I remember once, like, it was years and years ago, like, I think I must have been 16, 17. It was when, I remember once, like, I've always looked a little rough, but, like, not really. Like, not actually, really. I remember once I was sat on the bus, and I was sat on, like, the first seat.
Yeah.
Like, the first seat, and, it's reserved for old people or whatever. But there's nobody sitting there, and it's the only seat available, so I'm going to sit down on one of the 2.
Yeah.
And then this old woman gets on the bus, and she doesn't sit next to me. She just stands and stares at me as if I've like wronged her, like as if I'm this terrifying, horrible man at the age of 17. Like I am wearing a T-shirt with a pug on it. I have My Little Pony music blasting out my fucking earphones, and you're refusing to sit next to me because what? There's literally no reason.
Because you're a hardened young man.
I'm a hardened criminal.
Yeah. Me with my baby face at 17 and my lack of tattoos and piercings. She would have sat next to me and offered me
Like a Werther's original. Yeah.
a Werther's original, yeah. Because I remind her of her grandchild,
Yeah, the dead one.
the dead one. Oh God. I think at some point I've got to, fully commit to being the black sheep in my family and get the tattoos that I want, but I'm too scared to get.
Just do it. Your mum already kicked you out once, so she can't do it again.
That is true.
She can kick you out at Christmas, but
It's locked down, isn't it?
yeah. She'll miss you enough by next year. It's fine.
Yeah, I haven't seen her in a couple of months, so.
I have not. Oh no, my mum. She dropped stuff off at my birthday and at Becca's birthday. But I say I've not seen my mum in ages. But
I've not seen her in a while, to be fair.
I saw my uncle because he comes to the pub that I work at.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen my auntie Michelle or my auntie Andrea or Cheryl since Christmas. Oh no, just before Christmas. It was on like.
My oldest brother, probably last Christmas. My other brother, the one that works at Fleetwood. I think I saw him a few months ago in between lockdowns. My dad, recently.
Yep.
My mum, in between lockdowns. My grandma, probably last Christmas.
Saw my grandma in between lockdowns. I went. Me and Becca went round and just like stood outside and had a chat.
Yeah.
For an hour and a half, and that was nice. Because I'm used to seeing my grandma like every weekend. I'd see my grandma like on a Sunday. I'd go around, but no,
Yeah.
just not how it works out.
Obviously not. But yeah, it's been a weird year. I'm sure I read something recently about vaccines being available or
Oh
available
yeah,
soon.
it's like the vaccine was found. It's like 95% effective, and the government has bought 5 million, a million of which are going to be here before the end of the year, so they'll be able to be used.
Yeah.
And then the remaining will be afterwards.
Okay. What about the other 55 million people in the country?
How many people we have? Are we like 68 million?
I think the last census we were at about 55, so yeah.
66. 66 million. Okay.
What about the other 60 million of us then?
Well, they know how to make it now, and as long as the bottleneck is just like actual production as opposed to getting stuff in, they can make more labs. Like they can just co-opt labs as like you're making this now. That's all this lab is doing is making a COVID vaccine.
Yeah.
So like the amount of money that they will have already gotten from governments buying it,
billions.
It'll be so much.
Billions and billions and billions.
Yeah, so they'll be able to just like either build or co-op or just rent labs for production. So they'll have gone, all right, we can make this much by then, and then by the time that you've got those 5 million, we have 12 other labs now that are in production.
Yeah.
So like it'll speed up so fast that I don't think it'll be an issue. I think as long as it's functional and doesn't give people rabies or kill them, probably within a year.
The only other thing that I've heard about these vaccines is absolute retards, the absolute retardations of the country, posting shite on Facebook saying, "Oh well, they're putting little chips in the vaccination so they can track where you are," and like, no, they're not.
You posted this onto Facebook. That ship sailed a long time ago.
Yeah, like it definitely. They definitely aren't tracking you. The government don't give a shit where you are. They don't want to track your every move. You're not that interesting. Go home.
Yeah, it's anti-vaxxers are a funny breed. Like honestly,
Anti-vaxxers are also a dying breed.
yeah. Like fair.
mainly of curable things like, well, anything curable. But yeah, it's a strange one, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, bloody hell.
Yeah, it's oh bloody hell.
Stop
It's
kicking shit.
no, I'll kick you. Shh. I guarantee you, it's mainly like a bunch of Karens.
Oh yeah, like 100%. It's the only thing that I can be like I can understand why people don't want to get it is your measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine. We've had that for like
Years.
decades.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing up with it.
Yeah.
It's a new vaccine, so I can understand people being a bit wary, but because you don't know long term, it could have long term negative effects. There is a risk there, but if it's a case of you might like your arsehole might fall out in 40 years, but you can go out now. Like, yeah, I'll go out now. Thanks.
I I take the risk and go, well, hopefully in 40 years science will have advanced that much that they can stitch my asshole back on.
Yeah, like if they can vaccinate me from COVID now, then maybe they can fix any side effects later.
Yeah.
As long as the side effects aren't just outright, I die, I think I'll be okay.
But saying that, in World War Two, when we dropped the nuclear bombs, they didn't know that you could get cancer from the nuclear bombs.
Yeah, they didn't. The nuclear fallout was kind of a bonus, I guess.
Yeah. Even to the point where I was watching a thing that came up on Facebook the other day, and it was a ship that was near one of the two sites that had the nuclear bombs dropped, and like some of the like they're like explaining what went on, and like, right, what they said was you had to, I think you had to either, fairly certain said that you have to get like lie down or something because obviously the force of the bomb might
Yeah, if you
knock
lie down, pointing either towards or away from it,
Yep.
it's not hitting you full force. It's like imagine diving into a pool.
Yeah.
It's exactly that. It's do you want to go feet
Live
first,
Yeah.
or
Streamline type thing.
yeah, it's streamlining the actual contact of the force.
But they were saying obviously they said it's going to be very bright, so you need to put your hands over your eyes.
Yep.
And close your eyes. Said the weirdest effect of it is you could see your bones.
Yeah, like I suppose when you when
It,
you shine a torch through your finger and it
Yep.
glows red, and if you have a bright enough torch, you can like see your bone a bit.
yeah, and it was like it was like having X-ray vision. You could literally see, you could see your bone. You could literally see through your hands and your bones and nothing else because it was that bright. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh Jesus! And then they were like, yeah, everybody that we know that was on that ship has died of cancer-related issues.
Yeah, because that's what radiation does. It's very, very quickly changing your cells,
Yep.
and that's what cancer is. Cancer is a mutation that continues to grow because that's how cells work,
Yeah.
and that's what like it's the reason that rats die of cancer so much.
Yep.
Rats and rodents because it is like imagine if humans all died at the age of 35.
Yeah.
The issue is that all humans have babies at 16. We're always going to die at 45
Yep.
because we have babies before we can like get past it.
Yep.
Like because the replication is so often and quick, mutations occur a lot more often.
Yep.
So all of a sudden the person who's carrying the gene that is I die at 45, they've already had a kid.
Yep.
There's no option not to like your kid's going to die at 45 because you did.
Yeah.
Like there's no way around it. That's why
Yeah.
radiation is weird.
It is a weird one. I don't like because I watched Chernobyl when that came out. that didn't really explain the radiation fallout of that one very well. Because, like, some people got very close to the reactor and died within, like, a day or two. Other people was, like, on site, so relatively quite close,
Yep.
and didn't die for years. I'm like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, what point, how close do you have to be to.
There's, if you're close enough, you feel like your skin is boiling, you're dying very quickly.
Yep.
Or there's just, you were close enough and exposed to enough radiation that enough of your skin got fucked up that now all your skin is tainted. All your skin is mutated cells. So when they replicate themselves, they're just replicating like exact copies. That's how your skin regenerates. But then that spreads.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, that's what skin cancer is. It's a bad mutation in the skin that just spreads and spreads, and all of a sudden, like, it's not, the skin's not working as it should.
Yeah.
I remember my brother saying to me, like, years and years ago, must have been like 10 or 11 or 12 or something, like just going into high school. He boiled it down to almost all death, like actually all death that happens, if you boil it down, it's because you cannot respire. You can't breathe. That is what kills you. Almost every time.
Yep.
Like cancer and stuff, it's just because your body can no longer pump oxygen through your blood and around. That's the cause of death.
Yep.
Like, cause of death, yeah, sure, it was cancer. Sure, you got stabbed. Oh, the stabbing meant you bled out. Oh, you didn't have the blood to pump around your body and have oxygen in. Oh, then that's the actual reason is you couldn't pump oxygen around your body.
Or
due to lack of blood, but that's the reason. You couldn't breathe and respire.
Yeah. But yeah, I remember watching Chernobyl and being like, I don't get, like, he got really close. He got quite close, but he's lived for years. That other person, all right, well, he actually touched that and just had a glove on, and his hand's fallen off now. That's it. Have you watched it,
No,
Chernobyl?
I've watched it, but yeah, because
It is very good. It's worth watching.
this is also the level of like just actual decay. Like if your cells get fucked enough, they're just gonna break down. Like it's kind of how like cooking potatoes works. It's like the way you cook potatoes is it just and all vegetables and stuff. It's the cell walls are just breaking down to the point that they're soft and that you enjoy them.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's what radiation does. Like you are cooked, literally cooked.
Yeah.
If you're close enough, if you're far enough away, it's just it fucks you up real bad and you die later.
Yeah. One of the things are like, oh yeah, that's radioactive, that, and then like they touch it, and then like the fucking skin cells can't reproduce properly, and the skin falls off, and you're like,
yeah,
ow.
It's like there's an old story that you get told in like early science lessons about what are they called radar, because radar started getting used like World War II, maybe World War One, maybe a little earlier or later than that. They tell you a story about how the reason they found out about microwaves, like the actual wavelength that is a microwave, was because that's what radar used at the time. So there was like a bloke who was doing radar and he walked past with a chocolate bar in his pocket and the chocolate bar melted. Not quite accurate, not 100% accurate that. What actually happened is there's a load of guys working on the radars and realigning them, then they die, and people are going, oh, why did they die? And then they do an autopsy and realise that their lungs are cooked.
That's not good.
It's not good.
I never have really looked into it, but why can you not put metal in a microwave?
Not 100% sure. Like I find the way that microwaves work really interesting because it's just sciencey. Microwaves, they're a certain wavelength that just passes through, like light or anything else. It's just a wavelength, but it is a wavelength that, when it comes into contact with water molecules, vibrates the water molecules enough that the friction caused by the water molecules rubbing up against each other heats up whatever it is.
Yep.
It's the reason that really dry stuff doesn't microwave well. there's not enough moisture to cause the friction for it actually to warm up, so it takes longer because you're working with less stuff.
Yeah. Oh, fair enough. Yeah. I am slightly obsessed with Elon Musk, as I've probably said several times.
Oh yeah, I think you brought him up a few times.
Just a few times. And so is Matt Krem. You remember Matt Krem from
I do.
My Place? He's also obsessed with him. To the point where you're like, oh, and the Boring Company and this, that, and the other. I'm like,
Yeah.
I've heard of them, but only really because that was the website that sold the not flamethrowers
Yep.
and the hats. He's like, do you even know what the Boring Company is? I'm like, not really. He's like, oh, it's a company that he started up, and what they're actually going to do is they're basically just digging like a load of tunnels under LA for like high speed travel.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, you what? He's like, yeah, that's what it's for. They are basically because LA, the traffic in LA is that bad that it's like 6 or 7 lanes each way, backed up for miles, and it's horrendous. So they're building these tunnels under LA to get around really quick.
However, I'm not 100% sure if it'll help. I watched a documentary on because there was a thing that the councils around London wanted to build a massive motorway around the majority of London.
Yep.
So say if you live on one side of London and work on the opposite side and you drive, you decided for some reason you drive, you have to go through the whole of London, and that's going to be horrible. You're going to get stopped at every traffic light. It's going to be absolute wank.
Yeah.
So there was a concept idea of like, oh, well, how about we make a motorway, just a circular motorway around the entirety of London?
Yep.
So, like, oh, you live on one side, you just drive around. You'll be driving further, but you'll stop less. Yeah, you'll get there quicker. However, they built a bit of it. Like, I think there's like a couple of thirds. Like every so often, there's like a chunk of it that is still in use. But they decided, no, we're not going to finish it because as soon as you give people the option, more people will choose to drive. More people go, oh, well, the roads won't be as bad, so I'll get a car, and it just means there's going to be another road full. That would be the issue. It's like, oh, well, do I take the motorway? Do I drive through? Oh, I'll drive through because enough people are using the motorway now. But then that's another person taking up space.
Yeah.
So it probably, in the long run, doesn't actually help. I'm wondering if this, like, for freight trains, like, I'm on the website now. And they're like, oh, there's going to be bare ones, utility, which makes sense. Pedestrian, kind of nice, but weird. But then, like, freight stuff, that makes sense. I get that. That'd be fine. But like, actual, like, moving of goods,
I need to look into it a bit more. But it's going to be like using magnets and shit.
Yeah.
That's sort of like non-con. You're not actually touching the floor. It's going to be magnets, and you're going to go like 300 miles an hour. It's going to pelt you to the other side of like LA in no time at all, and it's going to be very quick.
Yeah. Have you ever seen? Oh, there's the thing you can do is if you get a copper pipe and drop a magnet through it, it takes ages to fall through.
Okay.
Because it gets magnetically conducted or whatever. That's the concept.
Yep.
Although I think you're magnetizing the tunnel, putting it on its side, and you're going through it. So because it ends up magnetized, it's called maglev. Yep. So the actual train doesn't really matter how much it weighs, but because of how fast it's going, it's lifted up.
Yep.
So it saves a lot on energy as well. That you've got to propel it, but
because obviously I look into Elon Musk quite a lot, I'm like, does this guy actually ever sleep? Because he spends a lot of time at Tesla, obviously, doing all that sort of electric cars bullshit. And then SpaceX, then the Boring Company. He also has another company that does a lot with like people that have like lost limbs and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like Anakin
cybernetic limbs,
all that sort of stuff. I'm fairly certain he's got like a few other companies that do quite a lot as well.
Yeah, hello.
I'm like,
ton of little stuff.
I'm like, does he actually sleep or is he a robot? I think he's a robot. I don't think he's a real person. Or maybe just an alien in a person's skin.
Maybe.
But, and then, a Neuralink as well, which I was talking about.
Oh yeah, that's one that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
It's referred to as transhumanism, the idea of like replacing your actual body with other bits or
Yeah.
being able to better what you already have with technology. Like it's a whole thing there, and I'm all for it. I don't give a shit. Like fill my brain with magnets. I don't care if
Yeah.
it's cool or does something cool. Go for it.
Yeah. And I was showing when I saw my dad recently. We actually sat down and watched quite a bit of the podcast with Joe Rogan, where he has the most recent one with Elon Musk. And because my dad doesn't really know much about either of them, you're like, yeah, you can tell Elon Musk just by the interview, he's like an absolute genius.
Yeah.
And we're like, especially not so much in the second one that he's in, but the first one, said he's literally the only person that I know, or like, well, I don't actually know him, but that while getting interviewed, or speaking to people, when someone asks him a question, most people just answer it. They go, "Oh, that's the answer." Blah blah blah. And start talking. He actually sits there and ponders it for a few seconds, which not many people do. But he genuinely like sits there and ponders the question and everything around the question and the proper answer and all that sort of stuff. Not many people do that. I think the other thing that like you can kind of see going on is like the main thing is the conversation that he's having, but also like 20 other things that are going on in his brain that he's figuring out at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, he worries me a little bit. He's
Intelligence can be intimidating because just like being able to see someone like peak of what they're doing, you're like, oh, that's there's dedication there that I've never experienced.
Yeah, like obviously, how much do you know about Joe Rogan?
Very little. He has a podcast, is MMA judge or something.
So mainly, he's a comedian.
Oh, okay.
So at least one of his specials is on Netflix, if not two of them. I've watched both of them. And he is quite funny. So he spends a lot of time at the comedy club in like New York and stuff.
Yeah.
And obviously backstage with all the other comedians. That's his main job.
Okay.
But growing up, he did a lot of MMA fighting and like kind of competed at a good level when he was younger and growing up and stuff. So that's how he got into UFC. He got into UFC when UFC was just kind of starting out as a commentator. Well, he started interviewing fighters, and now he's like the commentator. And also he has the podcast. But obviously he talks a lot about like MMA, and obviously very knowledgeable about it. Yeah. But he's recently like posted him doing like hip kicks and like different MMA things. Or like he's because obviously you don't really see him doing it.
Yeah.
You don't really know how good he is, but like it was just him like kicking a punch bag, and I like that would just destroy your internal organs. Yeah. Like if he kicked me that hard, I'm fairly certain my liver would just shut down and I would die. He would probably kill me kicking me that hard. But you're not really into like many sports, are you?
Nope.
No.
As I don't mind doing sports, but it's the watching boxing. I didn't like boxing for a long time. I was like, I don't want to watch two men beat the shit out of each other. There's no entertainment there. It's just like the Coliseum style thing. But like I've grown out of that. I'm like, it's fine. It's two consenting adults doing whatever. I don't care.
I think with sports, You have to watch it with someone that has a good understanding of that sport.
Yeah, that you need to be like when you're watching something with someone and all of a sudden they go, "Oh fuck," and then you're watching, you have no idea what that was about. Like,
Yeah,
oh, what happened there? What have I missed? Because all of a sudden I'm not taking in the same information you are.
yeah,
You're taking in information and processing it and deciding whether that was a good or bad move, and I'm going, it was a kick. It seemed fine.
yeah. I'm. I don't know as much. I probably know more about boxing because I watch more boxing.
Yeah.
Um, but I think I can appreciate it more than I did maybe a couple of years ago, just because I watch it with Danny,
Hmm.
where he does kind of do it and go, right, these are the two boxers. This is what this boxer is good at. This
Hmm.
is what this boxer is good at. This is what he's going to try and do, and this is what he's going to try and do. He stops that person by doing this, and that person stops him by doing this.
So it's like,
These are the tactics behind it. This is how they're going to do things.
oh, this guy, real good haymakers. This guy's pretty good at dodging. So it's
Yep.
like he's either gonna try and tank the hit or tire him out.
Basically, yeah.
And then you go, okay, from there's only a few ways it can go. Either one guy is really targeted and gets lucky, or the other guy does just tire him out. And
Yeah. So obviously that's
it's
a
like,
very
it's like
basic
that's
way
that,
of
yeah,
doing
that's boiling it down real hard. But
it. Yeah.
it's you're creating your own interest because you've decided an outcome,
Yeah.
and you're going, oh yeah, it's probably going this way.
Yeah.
Which that's interesting.
Because you're instead of just watching it as these two people are going to try and punch each other for 12 rounds,
Yeah.
you're going, this is what he's really good at, and this is what he's going to try and do. Not necessarily throughout the fight. This is what he's going to do in the first 3 rounds to kind of wear him out. This is
Yeah.
what he's going to do in these rounds. This is what he's going to try and do here. He's really good at doing this. He's not so good at doing that. And just really, and if you're watching sports with someone that understands the sport well enough, they can break it down for you so you understand and know what to watch for.
Something that I appreciate, and something it is a skill that you learn over a long time.
Yep.
It does take a while to pick up, but being able to explain something multiple ways will take you very far.
Yeah.
Like you can tell sometimes when you explain something to someone
Yep.
and they kind of get it, but you pick up and you go, I just need to explain it one more time, slightly differently, and they'll go, I get you.
Yeah.
It's a skill you pick up,
Yeah.
and especially when you know a lot about something, it gets really easy.
Yeah.
When you really get into something and you're like, yeah, I could explain this to anyone, and they're
Yeah.
going to get it.
Yeah. I think you also get a lot. Well, I mean, you'll be fairly good at that because you have to be while working in a call center.
Oh yeah, you have to treat every person who calls in like they are stupid while making them feel like they're not stupid.
Yeah. But yeah, I think you would get into sports if you sat down and watched any. Well, not necessarily any sport. I think
Yeah.
you will get into certain sports like boxing if you came and watched it with me and Danny, and we had a few drinks and went, "Oh, these are these fighters. These are what he's going to probably win this fight.
Yeah.
He's the better boxer. This is what he's going to try and do. Let's see how it goes."
Yeah.
I think the same would be with football because me and Danny both know enough about football. We would be able to explain it to you in a way that you go, "Oh, actually, I appreciate that because I didn't realize how hard it is to do that."
Yeah.
And he's made it look easy.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I think that's a lot of sport. Like I've played golf to a decent level. Not anything ever getting close to professional level or even semi-professional level, but to a good enough level that I can now watch golf with my dad and he's using, from what I can tell, he's using this golf club and aiming over here, and this is how he's going to try and hit it to get it to where it needs to be. I go, oh, that's quite interesting. I wouldn't have thought of maybe doing it that way.
Yeah, it's when you're first introduced to something, you see, oh, these are the like take the boxing examples. Like, oh, these two men are going to beat the shit out of each other. That guy's a little smaller in frame. I imagine he's a little quicker. That guy's got real big shoulders and long
Yeah.
arms. I feel like he's just going to wail on him.
Yep.
That's how I would go in as a blanket. This
Yeah.
is the information I'm taking from it.
Yeah.
And then you break it down a little more. You go, oh, actually, he weighs a lot more, so that changes these factors.
Yep.
But also, he got absolutely wrecked and has been out of the game for 6 months.
Yeah.
That changes some factors as well. Oh, but this guy's got a shitty leg, and this guy likes to kick. So that's a factor you take in.
It's like with boxing. So, it's a fighter called Usyk, and I'd never really heard of him until like a year or two ago. Until I can't even remember who we were fighting. Oh, it was not David Hay. It was, I can't remember what he's called. He's a Scouse lad.
Yep.
And he was in the first Creed film as the guy.
No idea.
Yeah, so that's for people that have watched it.
Yeah.
There's definitely going to be someone listening to this now going, "That's what it's called, you moron." But it's been a long day and my brain stops working. But I hadn't really, I'd never really heard of Usyk, and I watched it with Danny. And Danny just went, "This Usyk is a phenomenal fighter." Because they were fighting at cruiserweight, which is the weight class below heavyweight.
Oh, okay.
So I think heavyweight you have to be like, I think it's just over 15 stone. So these two fighters were fighting just below that. And he said Usyk, as an amateur boxer, had over 1,000 fights.
Oh.
And you're going, right, okay. So when he's watching, he's going, right, watch him here. He's fighting. I think it didn't go the full 12 rounds. I think it only lasted like 8 or 9.
Yeah.
He said in the first 3 rounds, he's fighting this style.
Yep.
Realise that it's not working, so he swaps to this style. And that started working. He's realised while fighting in this style that A, B, and C is working, but C, D, and E.
Alright, so he's started out and he's just properly wailing on him, and he's realised that's not going to work out.
Yep.
Next few rounds, he's gone a bit defensive. He's realised, he's picked out his weaknesses, he's noticed, like, oh, he's stepping out a bit too much when he's going for the punch. Next few rounds, he's trying to punish it. He's going defensive, noticing what he's doing wrong, now he's trying to catch him out.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. It's like you're watching someone learn an opponent.
Yeah. And it's like that with football as well. So you'll watch, even within the best teams in the world, so you'll have, like, say in England, you'll have Man City and Liverpool that'll play very similar sorts of football. So that'll be when they have it, when the goalkeeper has it, he'll roll it out to his full backs, and it'll be 2-touch football. So you'll receive it to your feet, touch it once to get out, maybe have another touch, and then pass it. And it's all very short passes, moving it up the field.
Yep.
And then not necessarily rushing too much, just pass until there's an opening. Where historically a team like Chelsea, they'll play, say, 4 or 5 defenders at back, defend.
Yep.
And then they'll get the ball
and send 1 or 2 people.
And they'll send like maybe 2 or 3 midfielders and their attacker, and they're going to try and get that ball to the opposite side of the field as quickly as possible and break away, and that's how they're going to counter attack, and that's how they're going to score and win.
It's interesting because I, having played video games and watched a lot of video games, in fighting games, and most games, honestly, but especially in fighting games and in trading card games like Magic the Gathering, there is a thing called the meta. And the meta is factually, this is the best way to play.
Yep.
Factually, let's say this fighting game, factually, unless you are playing one of these three characters, you are not going to win. Because everybody's on the same level as everybody.
Yep.
Literally everybody is practiced to the point where they are perfect. You cannot win unless you're one of these three.
Yep.
And then in like trading card games, this is the meta deck, this is the deck that wins.
Yep.
This is the deck that wins. You can make anti-meta decks, which are specifically designed to make the meta deck not work.
Yep.
But the meta deck works, and that it's interesting that does actually function in real sports. These are the two things that work. You do it this way or you do it that way, and that's how winning happens.
Yeah. And one of the things that I didn't know as much, well, I know more now that I've gotten into boxing more, but like just the dirty tactics. I absolutely love hearing about that, to the point where, like, say for example, because obviously, like, boxers can fight. The main two destinations for like boxers is either America or England.
Yeah.
Because we're the like not necessarily the best two countries, but the more popular in England and America.
It's probably easier to get into it here or there.
Yeah.
Which just means that you've got there's
bigger
more of crop to pick from.
Yeah, there's more of a support here.
Yeah.
And there's enough money in both countries that they're going to pay for pay-per-view and all that sort of stuff. But it's like the dirty tactics that you hear about going on in and around fights. To say, for example, Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury fighting.
Yeah.
And obviously they both have entourages and all this sort of stuff. But they decide to fight in America. So they're probably going to have, the night before, they're probably going to be in a hotel. Probably both going to be in different hotels. And one of the fighters sending his entourage to the other hotel to set the fire alarms off at like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And it's finding out stuff like that, you go...
Childish games. Just actually childish games.
Yeah. So Vladimir Klitschko was like the world champion for like years. And he was... The reason why he was... Well, one of the main reasons why he was the world champion for so long is mind games. To the point where Tyson Fury tells a story of when he was like an up-and-coming fighter. What they tend to do with up-and-coming fighters is they go into camps with experienced fighters that are in the prime.
Yep, makes sense.
So Klitschko was the world champion at the time. Tyson Fury was like an up-and-coming boxer, still quite young, but was added into the training camp as a sparring partner.
Yep.
So it's great experience for Tyson Fury because he knows what level these fighters are at because he's sparring with them, and it's good for like Klitschko because he needs to get match fit for the fight.
Yeah.
Or fight fit. And he said even then he knew that Tyson Fury was a big up-and-comer and probably going to be a world contending for world titles.
Yeah. Because you see a potential there. You go, I was your age and I wasn't where you're at now.
Yep.
I know for a fact you can get to where I am because I got here and you could possibly surpass me. Yeah.
And one of the mind games that he played is obviously there's a lot of fitness around it and all that sort of stuff, but they used to get in the sauna. And Klitschko's mind game was, I am going to sit in this sauna, I'm going to go in before everyone, and leave after everyone because fucking mind games. And Tyson Fury basically went, "No, fuck you. No, I'm not fucking leaving." To the point where they went in at the same time. They was in there for like 45 minutes. To the point where when Klitschko finally did leave, Tyson Fury went, "Well, I can't leave at the same time. I'm gonna have to stay in here for at least another minute
Yep.
to like beat him in the mind games." And stayed in there for another minute, left, and then left and fucking passed out. It's obviously heat stroke.
Yep.
And there's like a lot of stuff like that goes on like behind the scenes that you don't necessarily know about. I think like the same, it's in more sports.
Yeah, there's the game of the actual sport,
Yeah,
and then there is the greater game of how you win. You don't win by playing; you win by everything surrounding it.
yeah, it's everything that leads up and including.
Yeah,
Like there's so many examples of like stuff like that. It's
right.
really,
If you haven't seen it, you need to watch it.
yeah,
It is a film by Matt and Trey Parker, the guys who did South Park. It's called Basketball.
yeah,
The entire game that they create in this show, in this film even, is based around psyching out the guy shooting the ball. That's the sport.
yeah.
Imagine basketball, but on a baseball field with a net.
I think I've seen that
You need
years
to
ago.
watch it. It's great. Like the entire thing is you just have to psych out the guy shooting.
Yeah. I think I might have seen that years ago. I can't remember what I saw it on.
I think it was Amazon Prime for a while.
Yeah, possibly. But even like Conor McGregor, he's brilliant at like getting into people's heads before fights.
Well, yeah, if you throw a chair through a bus, that happens.
But like that was before they even like had a fight or was planning to have a fight. But like even in because obviously with the UFC they have like press conferences before
Oh yeah, there's all that.
and just like some of the stuff that he says, you think only an Irishman could say that and it sounds as good as it is. Like one of his quotes that me and Danny quote all the time is when you and we obviously do it in an Irish accent that I'm not going to do now is when you fight me, it's a celebration. You ring home and you say, "We've made it, baby. Connor's made us rich, baby. Break out the red panties." I'm like, only an Irishman had said that, and it sounds that good.
Honestly, I hate him. I can't stand him.
Oh, I love him.
He's such an arsehole.
He's brilliant, honestly. I love him to bits.
Right, should we leave it there? Because I think we've gotten onto a topic that could be an entire episode.
Yeah.
Yep. Right. Goodbye.
I think that's the next one. So, yeah, see you next week.
Goodbye.